using the same numbers as our successfully completed transaction, the ARV of the neighborhood is still 415,000.
What's up, guys? Hi, Aaron. Joseph.
What's up, Julie?
Hey, Julie, how's it going?
Hey, Justin. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Busy, no doubt. Busy, no doubt. How are you guys doing? How's it going over there, Aaron, with Jared?
Well, it's going pretty well. Just still getting things kind of ramped up. Trying to get some more letter campaign out.
You guys doing direct mail?
Yeah, we're going to do some direct mail and doing some email stuff, with my sphere. Just trying to get things going a little bit. So
For regular broker stuff?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the letter campaign will be for properties I can buy to renovate. But I'm sure there'll be some offshoot there with some retail listings, hopefully.
Sweetness.
And I'm working on a buyer lead right now, looking at some stuff over in Issaquah.
Cool, cool.
For a rental.
Me too. Busy. Actually, I got to thank Jared. He sent me a guy, Macchio, some broker, maybe, and trying to be nice. I appreciate that. Who I'm talking to, but yeah. I have 3 listings coming on this next week here myself, so a little scrambled. One of them just off Facebook, which is just in our Facebook thing. Remember I taught you guys that? That's actually, I'm in like at least 3 conversations off of a series of Facebook videos I posted in, let's say, May, that are still running by themselves. It's
That's
pretty
cool.
good. Yeah,
Are
it's
these
good.
videos that you're like, are you the subject of the video, or are they just videos of
No,
something
it's
else
just
that you?
me talking about a subject on the
Nice.
video. Yeah, it's like a Facebook marketing lead generation stuff where you can record a series of videos, kind of a systematic method, so you can kind of set it and forget it. Is
Yeah, that's nice.
what I'm talking about. So we were training on that in my VIP group, and then I'm happy to report it's working. So that's good news. Yeah. What else is going on? Joe, where are you at? If you're even with us, he has like all these sneaky ways he can do this now without probably even be here. Are you even here? You are. There he is. Oh my God, your mask. Is that Joe? What are you doing?
I'm at the library in Telluride.
Oh, nice. Oh, look at the beard. Look at that. Joseph with a beard. Good stuff. Well, what are you up to, Justin?
I am remote learning with my son because it turned out he wasn't turning in his homework, and so someone has to monitor him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm just catching up on webinars and trainings and things like that. Things of marketing.
A reminder to you guys, I kind of posted this late today too, but Beth and Albert and Nee and all those guys are having an office hours at 1 p.m. I posted on the Seattle Investors Club website for some training in, stuff related to financing, which, as I always say, is the best way to back into investing is to understand the financing, right? So we also did a kick-ass podcast, Joe and I, yesterday. I actually even got teary. Almost, I'd like step away. I almost started bawling at the end there with this guy, Dion McNeely. It's going to be a great story. He's out of Tacoma. I mean, literally like grew up like as a squatter with his family. Do you guys know this name? Have you ever heard of Aaron, of Dion McNeely on Bigger Pockets, Aaron?
I haven't, no.
Yeah. He's a guy that I was just like, who is this guy? He's very smooth, he's just very easy talking, and all his bigger, I don't know how I ran into it. I just did on some Bigger Pockets thing, because I don't really go on Bigger Pockets that much, but just kind of fade or something. And this guy, Dion in Tacoma area, like he grew up, like I said, like squatters, where they'd go into a house and they'd change the windows and the doors, and they just stay in there till somebody came and tried to throw them out, and then they just moved to another house. And then he was, I think, a police officer out maybe like Tumwater or somewhere for a while. Just grew up like dirt poor, right? Dirt poor, and now has 11 doors. It's just a good anybody can do it type of podcast that we had yesterday that I think everybody's going to enjoy. So
I can't wait to hear it. That's cool.
yeah. So I don't know, maybe nobody's going to join us today, which is possible. Because of whatever everybody's got going on. But what do you got going on, Aaron? If nobody jumps on by a certain amount, we'll just all go back to work.
Yeah, I got a flip going in Kirkland. So just in permit stage, we're doing a major addition. So just trying to get all the engineering and architecture stuff done. We got the architecture drawings done and have engaged the engineer, and we're just doing some refinements on roof line.
Are you doing are you doing a dormer or like a second story? What are you doing?
No, we're keeping it all in one level, but we're extending out the back and the front.
Okay.
So we're taking it from 1,600 square feet to 28 plus. So should be
Is this
pretty
just you
good.
and your partner, or with Jared?
No, just with me and another partner. Yeah. So
What's interesting, the market is so hot over there. I did this in the same type of market. a few years ago when it was super hot, where we bought a house and literally just boarded it up. It was in Highland Park, right? And I'd say where you're at is even more hot these days, right? With
Yep.
in on the east side, insane, right? And all we did was get the permits and the plans for an addition. We had a 750 square foot house, and we were just bumping it out to just make it like 1,250 square feet. And we bought it super cheap, and then we literally just listed it as is with the plans and made 100 grand.
That's an interesting thought.
So you
Yeah.
might very well, it's not going to hurt you. I'm just going to
Yep.
put it out there to you. I know
Yeah.
you guys that swing hammers and do all those rehabs can't stop yourselves ever from doing that because it's your joy and what you know and your passion. But it gets back to my prehab type of stuff, right? So literally, how could it hurt you? How could it hurt you to list it for sale for whatever profit margin you'd be happy with
Yep.
when you've got your permits and plans in hand? Do you still just keep working on it? How would it
Yeah,
hurt?
no, not at all. No, that's a great idea. I'm going to bring that up with my partner, honestly, because
I mean, dude,
just
there
take
you
all the
go.
risk out of it. Yep.
Well, that and you might still, maybe you'd be surprised. We thought, okay, maybe we won't make the same profit margin. I mean, literally,
Yep.
you could. And it won't, in this case, it won't ding your listing because if you were to go relist it later, it's a totally different product.
Right.
So I challenge you to do that. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Good tip.
You could even sell it as a like build your custom home, and then they could hire you or Justin here to finish it for them, right? I mean, make your money, sell it to them, and Justin will come in and you double dip it, right? Make your profit, and then get hired back as the general contractor to customize it for them. What do you think, Justin?
That's interesting. We've actually sort of pitched that idea for a couple retail listings, and it takes the right person they need to be a little more adventurous to want to do something like that.
Are you talking about the retail buyer though, or the retail seller? Because in this case, they already own the house.
Yeah, well, no, it was just even anyone like saying the buyer. Like when we as a seller going, hey, what if we had a listing, we had an estimate that we were going to use to remodel the house, and then we use that as a sort of a marketing, like, hey, here's, because it was a fixer, trying to see what was. But a lot of people I would say the majority of people are looking at a house going, hey, we just want to move in, unless it's an investment property. They don't want to buy the house and then wait. I mean, the majority of people, right? So, we had a neighbor that bought a house, and we remodeled it for 9 months before they moved in, but they bought it with the idea of doing that. So I think
you should, if you do consider that, Aaron, you should talk to Keith or whoever about the program he has available. What do you think the ARV of that house is going to be?
Per our design, we're looking at 1.4 million.
I mean, that probably busts the limits of what.
I don't think that qualifies for the case there.
You're thinking of 203K?
No, it's not a 203. It's a different 203K is only, they have like a limit of like $40,000. It's mostly from lipstick type stuff. This loan is it's, you could, we got a friend qualified. We were doing a house that was almost burnt down, and it was about $110,000 budget. So he didn't have to pay his mortgage until it was move-in ready. So
You should ask
Yeah.
Keith about it though. If he
Yeah.
doesn't come on today,
Couldn't
just call him and say, hey, Julie and Justin, we're talking about that renovation loan program. I call it the homie renovation loan is what I call it. It's called the home renovation loan, but I call it the homie renovation loan. Just ask him about it and what the parameters are. I can't remember off the top of my head what the limitations are, but much more flexible. Hey, everybody that's jumping on. Hello. What we're doing was we've been talking about how Aaron has a house that he has in Kirkland that he's in permit for to do an addition on. And I was telling him about how I had the same in Highland Park a few years ago in a similar type of very strong market. And we went ahead and literally the windows were even boarded up, and we just got the plans, the approved plans basically, and listed it with the approved plans and made $100 grand.
Julie, when you listed that, did you list it with the future square footage? So it met search criteria, or is the?
That's a good question. Yeah, I probably did.
If you're going to list it as the future square footage, that might be an interesting idea, because they're buying it. They would buy into it with the assumption that they would have equity after the construction is done. That could definitely be a little bit different strategy.
Yeah, I would say so, right? I'd have to go back and check on that, but you could then just put the detail of X amount is Redfin and stuff, how they pick stuff up is weird. You never can trust the square footage you see on Redfin or Zillow. You know that, right? Because
could you do dual listings and list it in one as 1 square footage and another listing with the future square footage and different?
I don't see why you couldn't. I don't know what the point would be of doing the existing square footage, but
well, if let's say someone wanted to buy it without, hey, I'm looking for a 2,000 square foot house, and that's all I want as a buyer, and it's the same price as someone looking for a 4,000 square foot house that has a plans to add on and build with permit ready.
I guess that would only make sense if Aaron sold that existing house where he could make his profit, which he probably might not be able to if he's
not with that square footage. Yeah, not for that neighborhood.
Right. Yeah. So cool. But yeah, no, we're back to the days, especially, actually, you guys just reminded me of somebody I need to call. We're back to the prehab potential days, guys. That's where you can get a house, you close on a house, and instead of actually doing the remodel, I have a video on it. Maybe Joe, you might be able to find my prehab video.
It's kind of like hoteling. I mean, basically similar.
No, it's basically you close on it, and instead of doing the flip, you literally just make sure there's no water issues, right? Like if there's water getting into the basement, spend $6 grand and put an interior drain in or something. Don't fix the roof, right? Don't do anything, just interior water damage maybe. And clean the yard, right? Get it just showing its best clean thing and throw it back on the market. And if you were whoever that is, everybody themselves. No, everybody needs to mute themselves if you're not talking. Mute is the word of the day. But you can throw it back on. And I don't know who this is, Joe, or if you can get them. The
host can mute him.
Yeah, Joe, you should be able to mute him. But you can throw it back on and make a huge profit, and things are still escalating a lot these days, right? So the only difference I would say back when I did that several years ago, we were crushing it. We killed it with that prehab model, literally, where we just closed on it, cleaned up the yard, emptied it out, and just made it vacant. We didn't even clean it. It was still sticky. It was just empty, right? We didn't do a deep clean on it. Made sure there wasn't any water intrusion stuff or life safety stuff, right? For anybody walking around there. And I think we made 70 on one, 110 on another. It was great. But the only difference is that buyers at that time were willing, they were acting like flippers. They were willing to take the rehab on. And I think there's a difference today. What do you guys think? That buyers are they're more wanting move-in ready properties than they are willing to take on the renovation themselves or big renovations. That's my sense of things. I could be wrong. Do you guys have any sense of what buyers are willing to take on today in regards to what level of sweat equity they'd have to do? Anybody want to speak up?
I just, it depends on the buyer. I mean,
What's that?
it just kind of depends on the buyer and the area and people's, I mean, maybe a first time home buyer might be a little more adventurous, where the family, is like, with the kids and things like that. I mean, with the renovations we do for our clients, like we always tell people, like, you have to move out because we're not going to do this job with you and your kids in the house. So
I would think,
if they have the ability to do that, and it's just, like I said, it just kind of depends on the scenario and how much work is actually
right.
involved.
Yeah. I would think that it'd be good marketing for a guy like you, Justin, and you, Aaron, to market that home style renovation stuff. You know what I mean? And as a great lead generator, there's also things where, like, you could build into your budget, Justin, as I have been able to do with some of our strategic creative real estate partners that you're aware of, that we can get housing paid for, right? We can get housing paid for. You could either build it into the budget if you're helping them, lending them the money, or you could take the job to a certain point, Justin, past structural stuff. And then you could, oh no, because this has to be if you were flipping, and then you could potentially use Curbio's money to finish. Right?
Yeah.
But that's different than what we're talking about, because we're talking about a buyer moving in, right? So, but if you guys are lending money, or however these buyers are getting money, I'd be interesting to ask Keith or any lender that might be joining us today, if when you're doing a renovation loan, are you able to add in some temporary housing costs just into the renovation budget? If it pencils, I don't see why they wouldn't, right?
I know that with that one house that I was doing that rehab loan with Keith, they weren't requiring any payments to the mortgage because it wasn't habitable.
Right. So there you go.
So even though it's not that they were paying for housing, they just weren't charging for the house that he was buying.
It was like a deferred payment, so you could go spend your money on temporary housing.
It was up to like 6 months or something like that, but it sounded like they were going to be able to be flexible if permits were taking longer. And that
Right.
kind of stuff.
Good stuff. Thomas, what are you up to? Can you hear me? Nice photo. Can you hear me? Does anybody have any questions this week about stuff they're working on? You guys might have heard that the stimulus packages have taken a big step forward. And I will share with you guys, I watched this guy. Some of you may know about him and some of you don't, but I find he's an interesting dude that is a YouTube guy, and he has this channel called Meet Kevin. Has anybody, raise your hand if you've heard of Meet Kevin? Anybody? What do you think of him, Kevin Ackerman?
So funny enough, my roommate actually told me about him, and I kind of started seeing some of his videos on YouTube, and they're actually pretty helpful. Haven't dug in too deep into his stuff yet, but it definitely is something that I want to kind of check in a little bit more and see what he has to say.
Yeah, if you guys should check out this guy, Meet Kevin. Is Kevin? Can't remember his last name off the top of my head, but I think he's been on Bigger Pockets a little bit too. He's an investor and a stock investor, and he is just really good at kind of breaking down current subject matters related to real estate, stocks, finance, all this stuff. He's kind of a dorky guy, laughs at dumb jokes, but hey, who doesn't, right? So I have very much enjoyed his stuff, and he has been really on top of breaking down all the stimulus stuff, and he's just on top of the information. So
on YouTube or where?
He's on YouTube. Yeah, look up
Okay.
Meet Kevin, MEET Kevin on YouTube. And he's got like camps and boot camp and trainings and some cool stuff on that. So just a heads up. Who's new with us? Kelly. Hey, Kelly, how's it going? Kelly Guerra. How do I say it? Guerra? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
We sure can. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you. You said it right the first time. It's Gara, Kelly Gara. And thank you. I apologize for being a little late. I am technologically challenged. And so to get this to work on my phone, I was just very pleased to have figured it out. If I could pat myself on the back, I would. But yeah, so I used to, several years ago, my husband and I used to work with Dan Martinez. And so he's the one that hooked me up with your group. And I'm very excited to learn about the group, what you do, how you find deals and stuff like that. I've been working with Grant Cardone for the last year, and I have seen the Meet Kevin YouTube videos.
Cool.
He is pretty entertaining. So
Good
anyway,
stuff.
yeah, thank you.
And you're looking to do what? Flip or?
I'm looking to invest. I did flip for several years. My husband and I did that for quite a while, and he got hurt several years ago. And long story short, we're not together anymore. And I am definitely ready to get back into real estate, and I have a lot of contacts. I have a whole list of subs, but I'd really like to get into the investor side as opposed to the flip side, which is another job, basically. So
Where are you located?
I'm in Rainier, Washington.
Okay. Rainier, like Rainier, like way
out there. Yes, the other side of Yelm.
nice. Oh, cool. Hey, it's always great to have a contact out there. I know there's like deals that happen out towards that way. So you should post, I'm going to give you a tip to get in the game a little bit or to mix it up with some networking. You should go on to Seattle Investors Club Facebook page.
Okay.
And also onto the Washington Real Estate Investing Facebook page. Are you aware of that?
I am not. I'm like I said, technologically challenged. I do have a Facebook because my daughter made it for me, not
Okay,
because
well,
I know what I'm doing on it.
Cut to the chase. Go on there and say, hey, I'm out in Rainier, Washington, and if anybody needs any help, any deals, anything out this way, I'm here. Because that's kind of a special thing that you are in that location, just to let everybody know that they have somebody in the network that is out that way. And then who knows what comes your way.
Perfect.
All right, cool.
That would be great. Thank you. And what was that second item? I got the Seattle Investors Club written down.
Washington Real Estate Investing on Facebook. And there's like 7,000 members on that Facebook page. It's bigger than the Seattle Investors Club page. But we all love each other, so we share.
Awesome.
Good stuff. So Israel, what's up, brother?
How's it going?
Good. Tell us what's happening today at 1 p.m.
At 1 p.m., managing the pipeline, making sure we close on loans that we have in our pipeline. Any questions about?
No, aren't you guys? Is that this week? The aren't
Oh,
you
yes.
hours?
Yes, we have office hours today at 1 p.m. So Albert Bowie, Flynn Family Lending, me and the Certain Lending team is going to be hosting office hours. You can find us on Meetup. It's called Real Estate at Work, I believe.
Well, I've also posted the link to the access today on the Seattle Investors Club Facebook page.
Yeah.
You guys scroll down a little bit and it's there, 1 p.m. today. So what Israel's describing to you is that conventional lenders, hard money lenders, and private money lenders that do like cross collateralization and stuff like that, you need to know all these people, and they're having what they call an office hours today at 1 p.m. How does that work? People just listen in and listen to all the questions being asked and all that, kind of like this?
Yeah, it's a very similar concept to what you do, Julie. So we essentially talk about our own deals, if we have any, or talk about other investors' deals, and people can just ask questions with any questions they have about their current scenarios.
Perfect. And with a group of specific lenders that can assist as well, guys, right? So what's up? Tanya, what's up?
Hey there.
Hey.
I'm hoping to do my first offer tomorrow on a
Yeah.
flip.
On your own flip, you're going to purchase a flip. You're going to make an offer on one you're buying.
Yes.
Good. How are you financing that?
Private money and hard money with certain.
Certain Lending. Yes. Let me just say as a shout out right now that Certain Lending is a sponsor of Seattle Investors Club and our favorite preferred hard money lender, Certain Lending, which is where Israel is, right? Israel? Yes.
Yes. So I'm with Certain Lending, and we provide hard money loans and asset-based rental loans. We're looking at exploring the new construction realm, so I'm actively building that out. So stay tuned for that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. So we like to associate ourselves with the people that are, you know, the most that are the most talented, the most honest, you know, and can perform. And therefore, Certain Lending is a very important partner to us here at Seattle Investors Club. So if you guys ever need any loans or looking at any of your deals, you can talk to Israel, you can talk to Nee, but you know, they're all at Certain Lending, and we love those guys. So thanks for showing up. Well, that's exciting. So where's your first deal going to be?
West Seattle. So it's
Ooh.
a firehouse. So
Oh.
it was in a fire.
So let's talk about West Seattle, because that was on my list today, because I've been getting questions
Tanya,
about.
was that, sorry, Julie, was that one listed?
Yes.
Got it. Awesome. I saw that
You saw it too.
my client sent it to me, and I'm like, yeah. He wanted to live in the basement while we were fixing it up. I'm like, I don't think that was possible.
No. Like after, did you go there?
I didn't. I just look at it and
Yeah.
you know, I don't.
It's
I try
not
to
good.
avoid. I try to avoid Seattle as much as I can. West Seattle with the bridge situations.
Yeah.
So what does everybody know? Let's talk about that for a second. Let's do a check-in on what's up in West Seattle. There's plenty of stuff available for rent. I think that, you know, I've heard both sides of the coin, like things are moving okay or things have slowed down. I don't have any current projects or listings in West Seattle. Do you guys know anything about West Seattle? I know Chris does.
I've been looking for a buyer in West Seattle, and it doesn't seem like it's really slowed down pricing wise. Maybe just in the last like 5 days or so, I see like maybe it's not as crazy, but I still feel like there's movement happening. She's in 700 range.
Okay.
And like even I'm in West Seattle, and the house that I'm in, we're actually going to put it on the market as soon as we do a few upgrades. So within the next month or 3 weeks. And on my block, there was a house that sold. It was only on the market for 3 days. It's a new build, like the buyer or the sellers built it themselves and then sold it on the market for $750 and sold for $910.
Whoa.
And then I know, insane. And then across the street there was, and that was about 2,000, maybe 2,500, 2,300 square feet. And then across the street there was a 1,500 square foot that went on for 6 and just went for 610. So definitely, and that was within this last, I think they closed 3 weeks ago, something like that. So it's really not, it doesn't seem like it's moved other than like literally in the last 5 days. It doesn't seem like it seems like things are
moving fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is this current exact situation with the bridge and the story of what's going to happen there?
That part, I haven't been, like the last I heard was that they were going to do the short-term fix, which takes less time and is less expensive, but it's been a little while since I checked in. So that was the last story.
So is that like a Band-Aid that then kicks the can for about 15 years or something?
Yeah. Yep. So it was the cheaper of the two, and then, but then they're still gonna have to figure out what to do. And I guess there was like starting to be issues with the bridge down below as well that they've been using for emergency and truckers. But maybe somebody else on the call knows a little bit more because I haven't been up on it in the last few weeks.
So is it open on the weekends and nights?
The bridge itself?
Yeah.
No, it's
What's
straight
the
up
weekends and
closed.
nights thing? There's like a weekends and nights.
It may be the lower bridge. So the
Okay.
one off not marginal, what's it called? Like underneath, you know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anybody else today have anything? We got a slim crew today a little bit.
I wanted to see what everyone's thoughts are on Boeing moving out their everything out to South Carolina. What do you think that might be doing to our real estate market up there, especially with that airport and Inslee threatening to readjust their friendly taxes?
Is that decided or just being discussed? I've heard it discussed a little bit.
Boeing announced that they announced today that the Wall Street Journal article that came out yesterday was true, and they're moving their 7 plant to Carolina. From what I understand is they were planning on doing that anyways and using the Everett to fulfill all of the new orders that were coming in. And then COVID happened, and so a lot of those orders were canceled. So they're just going to have an empty warehouse for whenever they start.
I feel like if that were to ever happen, it would get repurposed by like Amazon or something, and there'd be a bunch of jobs there. I don't know. I don't know anything enough to say other than my gut is that it sure seems like we're resilient in our real estate market here, and Boeing's not the only people in town these days. And there's a lot of people that want to live close to that airport too.
Right. Yeah. There's 30,000 people that work at that facility. That's not. They don't all work on that particular airplane. I think there's about 10,000 or so that could potentially lose their jobs because of that moving. But what it does is, there's just like the tech industry, there's a lot of other companies that support the aerospace manufacturers and things like that that may be affected as well, and that's regionally. So I don't know. It's just
something to be watching for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone had any initial thoughts. The other thing is too, just what Inslee came out and said right afterwards, says that if this is true, then they're going to, he's calling for an investigation or a study on the friendly tax benefits that they were giving Boeing, which could be pretty interesting if they try and do what Seattle's doing to businesses. If Inslee tries to do that to Boeing, which is one of the number one employers, how that
Right.
as well.
I don't know. We'll keep our eye on it. Has anybody experienced any slowdowns? Had any closings related to any of the, kind of, Justin, you've seen I keep posting about like, hey, remember that your recordings are not, if you're in King County, might not get done the same day right now. They're really letting everybody know that if you're closing on something, even if buyer's ready, seller's ready, escrow's ready, that the recorder's office in King County is so behind and so backed up, and that they cannot agree and guarantee any same day closings or anything. So what that means, I believe, is that you need to make sure that your title company offers gap insurance for if that were to occur. Whatever title company that you guys, an escrow company you guys use for all your deals, especially in King County, I would check all the counties, right? But King County, make sure you contact them and say, what's this delay in recordings? Is that happening? What's gap insurance? You don't need to be the expert, just know that you need to say that word, gap insurance, and find out and make sure that you're ahead of the curve on all that. And that if you're dealing with any buyer and seller situations that are sensitivity with closing dates because of moving or access things, that you have a plan in place to deal with that, because they're making it very clear that they are behind big time, at least in King County.
Yeah, Julie, on that, I got the email from First American Title as well.
Yeah.
The gap insurance is great, which is essentially they're, if you're set to close on a Friday and it doesn't get recorded because they're backed up, they will fund the deal temporarily until it gets recorded.
And offer the gap insurance.
Yeah, my question on that, if they're doing that, it's not, you don't have to legally offer the keys up until the money is deposited in the bank. But if it's not recorded, then I don't understand really what the point of having the money in the bank is if it's not recorded yet, right?
Well, I guess like a closing is, and anybody who knows anything, pipe in here. Let's say we were going to go ahead and let them have access and it's not recorded, or whatever. Do we need to be throwing in a early move-in agreement or something like that? Now, I personally hate to use those things because I don't want anybody moving in where they have an opportunity to like make a stink before everything's closed, just because, Murphy's Law, shit happens. But I guess I will, my personal self, do some more, just get some more clarity on that. What are the risks, or is there anything we need to be doing paperwork wise other than being aware? Does anybody know here? Right? We're talking about the difference between something getting ready to close and something being able to record due to the county backlogs. Anybody know the right answer? Okay, I'm going to find out the right answer to make sure, and I'll follow up with you guys on that. So just be aware of it if you have anything coming up. I mean, on any of your deals, or if you're purchasing anything these days, like you, Tanya, or you're just making an offer tomorrow. But anybody else got anything going on today? I'm going to cut off.
Yeah, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Paul Hemming. I wanted to comment on your. I wanted to comment on your prehab. We did those in the past, but it's so hard to find fixers these days. I mean, I want to maximize profit on every deal.
Sure.
Because this is the first time that we're going to be without work in probably, since I hired my son as a full-time buyer.
Really?
So it's been six or 7 years. And we finally got one under contract yesterday. So we're only going to have a couple of week gap. But yeah, it's, so if you're a flipper, man, it's tough to do a prehab. So.
It's, I hear what you're saying. I understand your point of view exactly. Do you know Victor Rybacek? He's kicking out deals like crazy right now.
Oh, I've heard the name. I think I'm on his email list. I mean, there's a lot of people wholesaling at higher prices than I'm willing to pay.
No, so. I hear you. Well, you know who you need to connect with? That is Jenny. Jenny. Let me talk to Jenny and let's go digging for you, Paul. Jenny Moore.
Jenny Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I commented on her in August. She got me one in Belfair, which I never even looked there, but it's only like 9 minutes from Bremerton. So yeah, we got that one, and Dave Billings talked me into buying it because I didn't see the value, and he pointed out it came with an extra 5-acre parcel. So then I saw the value. So and then I gotta
on my team. So
I gotta give a shout out to these meetings because I don't know if you remember I talked about my murder house, I think last January.
Yeah.
And it was 100% of the people in the agreement in the office or the meeting said, don't lower the price because these people are going to buy it or they're not. So I was going to drop the price by 25,000 and we didn't, and we got it sold. And it was a tough sell, but we sold it. So that'll pay for my dues with you guys for a few years.
Exactly. Good stuff. That's good news, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me nudge Jenny and talk to her and Dave about that for you. I understand what you're saying out there, but it does seem to me, I'm seeing more wholesale deals, right? So maybe you're right. Is anybody looking at Victor's deals? Does anybody know? Are those overpriced, Aaron?
It's just they're thin. I mean, it's just like everything. They're thin, and a lot of the comps, it's just like, but he's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. I just
The message is get your own
group
deals,
too, though.
right?
Yeah.
Get your own deals. Get your own
Yeah,
deals.
I didn't mean to say he was overpriced. So
No. Well, he's a good guy. He's a hard worker. He gets his deals done. I mean, what does he care? He's got buyers.
Busting it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, good stuff there, guys. Anybody else? I'll tell you that my postcards that I sent out even 2 years ago are ringing a little bit on. I'm getting calls off some of that stuff, that I think that people hang on to that stuff from years ago. Any of you who did that kind of thing, and pretty interesting that getting those calls here and there a little bit. Just proof that people hang on to those letters. Again, I think it's just a matter of being there when they're ready. Does anybody use a skip trace service? Has anybody tried any like Facebook marketing where you upload a list? You know, you only need 100 and you can directly market right to them. I just find it interesting that nobody does that. It just is so cost effective. Why is nobody doing it? That's what I want to know. So that's my favorite topic to train on right now is Facebook marketing, and it can apply to whatever. Could it be any business? Could be, anything goes. So
when you say upload a list, I mean,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that?
That's what I was
Be nice
just
to
gonna
know
like
more of the
chime in a
details.
little
Yeah.
bit more on that.
yeah, you can take, let's say you have your list that you've pulled, right? Your that you've scrubbed and pulled for your properties, right? You could run that through then a skip trace service and get phone numbers and emails. And then you can upload a custom audience list to Facebook. And as long as there's at least 100 match, you either want to go with phone numbers or with email addresses. And if you get 100 to match as a minimum, you can then market Facebook ads directly to that audience.
What was the name of the list? You said a custom audience?
Your own list.
What'd you call it?
This is a list. You're making a custom audience yourself, right? You're creating your own audience off Facebook to market to, because you are able to find them by their phone number or their email on Facebook. And if it's a match, Facebook will let you know how many match. Then you can do videos or whatever you want to do directly to them, and they'll never know why they're seeing all your stuff.
And how does it come up when they see it? Like on the side or in their feed?
Just like any other sponsored ad, probably, that you see on your Facebook feed.
You get a pretty good conversion rate on that?
I personally have not done that part yet.
Okay.
But I do have a listing coming on next week directly from something similar to that.
Do you need like a business account with Facebook or anything like that? Or
Yes.
You need
like
a Facebook
special
page.
account?
Yeah, you need a Facebook page, and then whatever Facebook page you're using, whatever your like home buyer site might be or something like that, maybe is what you would want to use for that. Not like Aaron Royce, real estate guy, but
right.
Whatever.
I'm going to totally get our marketing guy on that and see, and I'll come back with feedback on what we're getting from it.
Who's your you mean like your
we have just like an individual guy that's been doing marketing for my team for, I don't know, like 6-7 years.
Yeah. Facebook's cheap advertising.
Yeah, exactly. Like it'll be fun to just see what happens with it.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm asking the West Seattle questions because on my own Facebook stuff that I'm doing like that, these people, they'll start chatting at each other. I had one guy, I was telling Justin, these guys, I had one guy, people will make rude comments too. Like, why would you want to live in that cesspool or people make crazy comments on Facebook. But literally what happened is I had some asshole talking some crap about something, and then somebody else, I don't even know who these people are, the guy like comes to my defense and he's like, hey, look, this lady's just trying to help people out, and you need to, and then they're going back and forth on my Facebook comments on my ad saying, that's right, I'm sorry, she's just trying to help people. And it was like I'd never even engaged until at the end, and I was like, hey, thanks Dave, or whatever it was. And so now for months This same thing is there. There's literally probably been thousands and thousands of people seeing this, and every once in I've been asked like, hey, I need your help on this, and somebody just said, what's up in West Seattle? My brother and I just inherited a house, and I'm like, what? You know, in
Let me
West,
take care of you.
this is all happening right on my comments in my Facebook video view ad, right? What I'm explaining to you guys. And it gives me an opportunity to say, well, I'll give you some free advice. Here's my phone number, right? Or I had another guy saying, hey, I got this, I've listed my house on Northeast Queen Anne and it's not selling. What do you think's up? And I just said, I don't know, let me check it out. Here's, you know, message me the address and I'll give you some free advice, right? It's like, it's becoming like it just does it all by itself, guys, is what I'm saying.
Nice.
Facebook is, if you're not using Facebook, because you can set it up and then it runs by itself. You don't have to babysit it. You just respond to what happens. So not to say, but this is a VIP education community type thing that we talk about here and this kind of stuff. I learned it took me forever, right, Joe? We didn't know Facebook is difficult to figure out how to learn all that shit. But once you actually learn it, you're like, oh my God, it'll keep you up at night with what you can do with it cost effectively. So for another time. Anybody else?
Wow. Sounds like I need to learn how to work Facebook. So pardon my ignorance. This is my first time, but I just wanted to ask, so are all y'all realtors or investors or just all of the above?
All of the above.
Okay. So if I wanted to purchase, say, an apartment complex, who would I go to ask what to do?
You could ask any of us here probably. Raise your hand if you are a real estate agent that has experience in multifamily. So I definitely do own multifamily, broker multifamily, that sort of thing. Anybody here could help you with that. Or raise your hand if you're familiar.
Okay, cool.
Kevin, did you raise your hand? Why, are you looking to buy some multifamily?
Yes, and
Are you
I
talking
just
about
actually.
how many units are you looking at?
Well, this particular one is 22, I believe, but it's possibly there's other 6 separate lots. So it would be a huge chunk to take on, but it's pretty exciting. And I'm a little nervous because, you know, I've been a flipper for decades, but never an investor. So I'm a little bit nervous about what to do, where to go, where to find the money, that kind of thing. So
Yeah. Well, step one definitely is getting your commercial financing figured out, because nobody's going to entertain an offer unless you've got an approved commercial financing locked up. So that's definitely step one.
okay.
And you're going to need a much bigger down payment, right? Like 25, 30%.
Yep. I mean, there's ways to negotiate some of that onto the seller if they're motivated enough, but yeah, just as a going in position, be prepared 25 to 30% for sure.
Okay.
And then a lender's going to take issue if you have no experience with multifamily.
Exactly.
So you need to find a partner, probably.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. That's why, you know, I reached out to Dan because we had partnered with Dan so many times, and he recommended you guys for me to get a hold of.
Well, as you continue to explore that for yourself, you come back and join us each week and ask your questions. We'll see if we can help you out. We'll get some lenders on here. I don't know what we have. It looks like Israel had to drop off, but typically we have some lenders that are well-versed in commercial as well on the call.
Okay.
Is it a property or is it off market?
It is on the market. I found it on LoopNet. And
Well, let me tell you what, LoopNet is where multifamily and commercial properties go to die. So
really?
that's not a good deal, right? That means that you have to get a better deal than what is posted there, because nobody yeah, that's kind of like a, kind of almost a little bit of a, yeah, you know, lots of multifamily deals are also sold off market, right? It's off market's much more common in commercial as well. But if it's sitting there, that means maybe there's something up, and you should, you know, do some exploration and see what's going on with that one. That's just an off the cuff. Now, that isn't like, I'm not signing that in blood, but
Right.
typically if it's
Right.
on that, it's not that great of a deal.
Well, thank you for letting me know that, because that's, you know, where I've been looking for the last several months. And
I mean,
we've
honestly, multifamily deals of that size or larger are controlled by the brokers. So it is, you don't not use brokers usually in multifamily and commercial, because they pretty much control all the inventory, because it's really lots of off market stuff. So you're going to want to probably, you know, I don't want to take business out of anybody's hands here, but if you are consistently looking for a 20 unit or larger deal, you're going to want to talk to people like at Marcus and Millichap and things like that, and get on their list.
CBRE. Yeah, it's CBRE as well.
They're not going to take you serious if you have no experience, no money, and no partner. So you need to probably reverse engineer into that. But go for it. Do it.
Well,
And Kelly,
Don't
if you're
give up.
looking for something that's not a 20 unit, that's, you know, maybe 8 units or lower, you'd be surprised even if you come on the Seattle Investors Club Facebook page or the Washington one and just put it out there. Hey, I'm looking for, you know, 4 unit or 6 unit. You'd be surprised how many people will respond to you with, "Oh, I've got this and I've got this."
Right.
It's incredible what's out there, just in our
Okay.
small group.
Local
Okay.
network is pretty tight. What's going on,
That
Gus?
would be amazing.
Hey, Gus. I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, you guys got any deals? What's up?
Oh, Cindy's got some. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember them off the top of my head, but we got a whole bunch of seller financing. A lot of that is coming up.
Really?
Yeah. So excited about
Get on
that.
your buyers list, Gus.
How do we buy a filler?
How do people get on your buyers list? Gus, a wholesaler, guys.
Oh, just go to stillcreekproperties@gmail.com, and that you'll find Cindy, and just reach out there and she'll call you back, and then you're on.
stillcreekproperties@gmail.com. If you're looking for deals, get on Gus and Cindy's buyers list.
Okay, let me just say that Still Creek, as in Still Creek.
Oh, STILL.
Yes, yeah. I can pop it in the chat.
Sure.
Stillcreekproperties@gmail.com. Yeah, there's a website there. I think there's a website, yeah.
Are you saying you're getting a lot of sellers that are willing to do seller financing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you?
They want full price, and obviously, you know, they're still not having to. They're still kind of like living with, I want retail, I want this, I want this, I want this, and you know, the market's turning, and people are beginning to realize that they can't do that. So now they're figuring out, okay, we can offer them full price, but on different terms, right? So it's a bit of a explanation on how that actually works, but we've got the documentation that we can show them and say, okay, this is what we've been doing, this is how it actually works, this is how you get your money. And once we've done that,
Gus, would be super cool is that one week that you or Cindy come on and join us on a Thursday and show us a case study of one of the deals you've got done with your seller financing, and why it worked for the investor and why it worked for the seller, and give a little talk to us. That would be super cool. I'd be up for that. Would you guys want that?
I would love that.
Gus,
okay, well, as soon as we've got something that is explainable, we need to, of course, we'll happily come and do that.
Awesome.
Good. I hope Cindy's not on the call. If she's on the call, she's going to be phoning me back and saying, what did you agree to?
That's okay. We'll give you, you can take your time with that, but just,
Yeah.
that would be
We'll, yeah, sooner or later, one of these
Come
days
share.
we will do that, definitely.
sweet. How about anybody else, guys? It's 12:25. I've got a listing appointment today, so I must bail out early or on time at least. Anybody have anything they need help with today? Okay. Joe, which podcast is dropping this week? Is it with Ryan?
Actually, I got something, Julie. Just real quick. It's just if anybody knows of any good potential rentals in this Issaquah area. I'm still figuring out the exact numbers for a buyer, but if anybody's got anything that might make a good rental, so let me know.
You're looking for off market specifically, or either or?
Or yeah, I mean, if the numbers pencil, the guy will be interested, and I can represent him as a buyer. If it's off market, that works
Got
too.
it.
Yep.
Good stuff. Anybody else?
I just want to thank y'all for the information.
Sure.
You're welcome.
Right on, right on. Good stuff, guys. Other than that, we will see you all next week, or you guys know how to reach me. Tanya, good luck on your offer. All right.
Thank you.
We'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Thanks,
Bye,
Julie.
guys.
All right,